fields are breathing slow. There's a mother calling softly for the child she came to know. We took her milk, we took her baby, called it custom, called it need. But the earth remembers every bond we break to feed our greed. Bring the calves back to their mothers, bring the milk back to the young. Let no baby be taken before their life's begun. Bring them home.
Tell you one story, which actually is many stories because it's happened to a number of people. But a lady was taking a walk down a lane, and on one side of the road was a cow, and on the other side was a calf. And each of them, the cow was mooing and crying, and the calf was mooing and crying because they had been separated. Well, she was dismayed when she saw this. She walked until she saw the farmer and asked why, since they were so unhappy, they couldn't be put together. And the farmer said to her, "So you can have your milk, lady." And then she said, "Not anymore." And I've heard this story from more than one person. One person was Dr. Catherine Nimmo, and she became vegan before there was a word vegan back in 1931 because she met the situation. Another person was Eva Batt, who became secretary of the Vegan Society in England. And when this happened to her and she said, "Not anymore," she really didn't know how she was going to survive because there weren't alternative milks in the marketplace then. She was determined she wouldn't drink milk anymore, even if she might die. She was really so upset. But of course, she found a way through.
Thank you, Freya. Can you share a little bit about the origins of veganism for you and the American Vegan Society?
Well, I grew up in a vegetarian household. And why did I become vegan? Well, it's not a question of why, or it's really a question of who. Because when I was a teenager, I had a pen friend. I was in England and he was in America. And my pen friend was Jay Dinshaw, and he had become vegan in 1957 after going to a slaughterhouse in Philadelphia where they were killing the cows that could no longer produce milk sufficiently. And when he saw this, he and his brother decided that they had to go vegan and stop drinking milk. So it was from getting to know Jay that I became vegan. I came to this country in 1960 in August, or July actually, but in February of 1960, Jay formed the American Vegan Society. And the first paid member of the American Vegan Society was Catherine Nimmo. And I just told you her story of how she became vegan. So we started out with a mimeographed one-page magazine, and things and opportunities grew from there. We did a lot of arranging of conventions over the years in various places of different sizes. And many people have been influenced, and we should all know that we are an example to other people. We can help people, and it can go like ripples spreading. So we all do our part, and thank you.
That is 66 years ago. Has that been like a blink of an eye in some ways?
In some
Freya?
ways, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being a leader in this movement and a grandmother and such an amazing mentor for many people, including myself. Before we move on and share a little bit more, Freya, I wonder if you could just mention what the American Vegan Society is going to be doing for Mother's Day this year.
Well, we have a center in Philadelphia. It's in the Old City section, opposite the Old Christ Church. And we will be giving out samples of vegan milks, alternatives to cow's milk, or as you could term it, milk of human kindness.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that on the first Friday of the month, because that's when they have a walk around in Old City, when people stop in and see different places, and hospitality is active throughout the city.
Thank you, Freya. I would just like to, usually Judy's here to read this, so I was waiting to see if she was going to be able to enter. But I would like to read you the original When the Grandmothers Came Together, the Homo Himsa Pledge. As the million vegan grandmothers and wisdom carriers, we gather to express our fierce love for our children and grandchildren and invite everyone to take our Homo Himsa Pledge. I pledge to honor and protect all the animals, peoples, and Mother Earth herself by joyfully embodying and promoting an infinitely sustainable, cruelty-free vegan lifestyle that heals the climate, restores right relationship in its true spirit of Homo Himsa for generations to come. And I'm just going to read just a tiny bit more of the original statements of the grandmothers. We, the million vegan grandmothers and wisdom carriers, join together using the power of love for the children and grandchildren of all beings and for Mother Earth. Welcome are all people, regardless of gender, age, and official grandmother status, who align with the values of veganism and this declaration. We affirm the right of all beings to live in a natural, toxic-free environment which allows all to thrive and to lead sacred, liberated, sovereign, and joyful lives. The power of love is unstoppable. We do not allow this planet and all who live here to be destroyed. We are creating a vegan world of peace, freedom, and loving kindness for all. We believe that the true nature of human beings and our highest calling is to be kind, compassionate, nonviolent, and partners with, not dominators of all life. We believe this is the time of the great awakening of humanity, to leave behind the destructive nature of Homo sapiens and become who we have always been destined to be, Homo Himsa. As vegan grandmothers, we are here to midwife the birth of a new, compassionate human and to bring in the new era of vegan ahimsa world so that our children and grandchildren and those of all species can thrive and be free. That was our original pledge and declaration, and thanks to the grandmothers who put that together. Thank you. Sailesh, would you like to share, and then we will go through the rest of us here?
Yeah, thanks, Tammy. Yeah, for Mother's Day weekend this year, I will be attending the Global Earth Repair Convergence in Port Townsend in Washington. So lots of us are getting together, about 500 of us are getting together to talk about how do we go about repairing the destruction that has happened and what's the best way to do that. So I'll just share a little bit about the Global Earth Repair Convergence. So this is the website, both in person and online. So you can register online or join in person. And it's from May 7th through 11th. So it includes the Mother's Day weekend. It'll be in Fort Worden State Park and Conference Center in Port Townsend, Washington. So basically, we're going to figure out all the repairs we need to do and the solutions that are already in hand. And obviously, set out a roadmap on how we are going to accomplish that over time. And I'm really glad to have heard the Sanctuary panel before us, and Patrice specifically talking about how humans are also scared, frightened, and that's why we do what we do. And one of the things we have been promoting is the idea that we need to make healthy food freely available to every human being on the planet as a community, and healthy vegan food freely available. So when you feed someone, suddenly they don't see you as an enemy or they're not scared of you anymore. So the reason, vegans are considered to be the most hated people on the planet, is because we are showing up and we are making people see their own disconnection. And I noticed that when we go and feed people, then they suddenly see us as non-threatening, and they like us, because we are giving them free food. So that's one of the things we have been promoting. So is that's how you create a world that works for everybody. We have to first feed ourselves and become healthy, and then we can help the whole world become healthy again. So anyway, these are all the speakers. And I don't think there are too many vegan representatives there, but so we are going there and we are offering them free food as well. So we'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to this. And this is partly sponsored by the Buckminster Fuller Institute. So it comes back to the 60s again.
Beautiful. And are you going to be able to bring some of the calf and cow resources?
Yeah, we'll be taking the calf and cow standee with us, as well as the Planet B standee, and I'm taking some of the books with us. So we'll set up a table, and we're going to be talking to everyone who's there.
Great. And do you still have some stickers left? And
absolutely, I have some stickers left. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. We can talk about resources during this time, but one of the things Sailesh is talking about is this. I don't know if I'll be able to show it if I get close enough. Oh, no, my screen doesn't pick it up because I have but these stickers that we have, that we designed for, there we go. Let me just come back here. For Calf and Cow Mother's Day that we both have on our water bottle. So all of the resources on the website are downloadable, and these stickers are one of them that we've gotten done. And if we do have a little bit of funding, so if there's some people that live not too far away, or you need to connect with Vista Print, maybe getting them sent right to you. All of the cards on our website, the Mother's Day cards, are all downloadable. They're Mama and Baby of Other Species on calfandcow.org. So thank you, Sailesh. Did you want to share next, Deborah?
Hello. Hi. It's great to be here. What should I share?
You can share whatever you like, and if you're going to do anything on Mother's Day weekend for the mothers and babies of other species, you can share that as well.
Now that I'm back here after 6 weeks of traveling, I'm going to go to the vegan Cuban restaurant in South Miami and ask if they would consider doing anything. I'm not giving them much lead time, but anything special for Mother's Day, any creamy kinds of desserts or special offers. And maybe I can hand out some literature or downloadable stuff. Also this week, I'm going to get back to dance class and talk to a brilliant young teacher, dancer, choreographer, about doing a piece. She had agreed to do it before, a movement piece, which will require 3 dancer movers, and about the calf and cow separation. Hopefully we're going to be able to get someone to represent slaughterhouse workers in the tableau, and in a relatively short period of time. And it will be an in-process thing because it won't be stage ready with lights and special, but about what happens to calf and cow, about what happens to the people who work in slaughterhouses where their own true natures are violently discarded, and what an escape from this might look like, very simply. And it's interesting because it could be a kind of pantomime thing, but what we'll be looking for is kind of getting to the heart of what the cow's maternal behavior is and the connection between the calf and cow, and try to take it into somewhat broader movement terms so that it is like a fusion of pantomime and dance, trying to get to the true nature of the violence of the separation and the potential for making all actors whole again, the calf, the cow, the slaughterhouse worker. So I hope we can do that in less than 2 weeks.
Grandmother Deborah is a dancer, has been a dancer her whole life. And so we don't have too much of that, the movement, the dance for calf and cow. And just to bring this awareness to everyone, this is only the beginning. It was really put together very quickly, the final pieces. We've been writing about it for a year. And the website is just the beginning. So there's just a few things loaded on there, but we have lots of resources on there. This is just the beginning of a huge community website with tons of resources. And because every day is Mother's Day, we're going to have campaigns and try to bring other campaigns into it. For example, Anita was talking about a really large campaign. I think it started in Australia, that is Meatless May. Well, we would like to have May for Mothers, like Veganuary. We can see that happening, can't we? And we want to add to their campaign and ask them if they would change that to Milkless and Meatless May. So these are all the things that we're going to continue to grow on. And so if the dance doesn't happen this year, or if it's not fully choreographed, then, there's next year, but all through the year. And it'll be a build-up this time. We'll have more time to do a bit of a build-up. So thank you. So let's keep that flowing, because after Mother's Day this year isn't the end. It's only just the beginning of bringing awareness to the mothers and babies of all species forever and ever until everyone's aware and here to protect. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Louise?
Hi, everybody, and thanks for having me, Tammy. I really, really appreciate it. And I absolutely love the cow and calf campaign. As a mother myself, and now, a grandmother to one, I just, I know how strong that maternal bond is, and I can't even imagine the despair that, these cow mothers go through when their babies are taken away from them. So it's just heartbreaking, and I just really want to do something about it. And honestly, like the whole animal agriculture thrives on the domination and exploitation of the mother, because without doing that, they couldn't force these animals into existence for us to eat and use and, and purchase and all that. So so I've been I'm a co-founder of Toronto Cow Save, and I've been organizing vigils there for over a decade, and Salisha's been out to one, so that was really nice when he came out. But my story kind of is interesting, how I ended up back there, because I've always sort of been an animal rights activist all my life. I've had a deep connection with animals, and there were several, incidences in my life that really made me kind of look at what we're doing to animals and why are we doing this, but I could never really get an explanation, and nobody really seemed to really care that much. So, but when I was in high school, I formed a group, and that I think there were like 3 or 4 of us. And we did a few investigations, but one of them we did was we went to a Toronto slaughterhouse, the cow slaughterhouse. I wasn't vegetarian or vegan then, so I didn't know what to expect. And honestly, when we asked to go there, we really didn't expect them to allow us to go in. So we were pretty shocked and maybe a bit horrified when they said, yes, come. So 3 of us went there, and they took us on a tour of the slaughterhouse, and they actually killed a cow right in front of us. And that moment, it seared, just a sadness in my heart and my soul that I've never forgotten. But I didn't know what to do with this information. And, you know, back then we didn't have social media and, you know, the internet. So there was nothing we could really do with this information. We did write up a report and hand it out at high school, you know, but most people weren't interested back then. And especially mainstream media, they really didn't want anything to do with it. So everything just kind of dissolved and it was long forgotten. I've got my 16-year-old ducky here on my lap. She's panting. But so anyways, years later, I was a mother, became a mother, and I moved out of the city to a more rural area just outside of Toronto. And I started witnessing, you know, the animals with my own eyes. You know, I could hear the cows calling for their babies. There was a small slaughterhouse near where I lived, and my son and I would go there sometimes on Sundays and just visit with the animals and just do what we can to comfort them. But I didn't really have a plan of what I could do to help these animals. But I went to a protest with PETA. My son and I went to a protest with PETA at a slaughterhouse in Toronto. It was a pig slaughterhouse. And I met Anita Crines there, who hadn't started Vigils yet, but was considering doing that. So, of course, I was quite excited to meet somebody who was interested in doing what I wanted to do. So I went to the first Toronto Pig Save vigil for the pigs at that slaughterhouse. And then I started the cow vigils from there on, and I've been doing it ever since. And it's been amazing. It's never easy, you know, even after all these years. It's very, very difficult to be there. But what makes it possible to go back are the people that come, because a lot of people come that are not vegetarian or vegan, and they make the commitment from there on that they never want to be a part of this system ever again. And then people that are already vegan come back sometimes. Like, we don't expect them to come all the time because it is quite traumatic. But they do, you know, it's good for people that are already vegan just to sometimes just come back and remember who we're fighting for, because it's really easy to get caught back up in, you know, society's brainwashing and, you know, and get complicit with it. So it's really important that people that are already vegan come back sometimes and just look into the eyes of these animals. And something else I did was, like, I've always been a hobby photographer. So I really mastered my photography skills and started taking photos of these individuals at the slaughterhouse, at livestock auctions, and so on, just to bring them to the public eye, because most people won't come to a slaughterhouse and look at the animals, or they won't go to a livestock auction. So by bringing these photos and of really focusing on the individual animal, it really makes people think, you know, that these are not cattle, you know, they're individual sentient beings with feelings just like we have. So I've taken thousands of photos over the years, and some of them have been put into books and magazines, and I've won some photo contests. And I think it's important because it's bringing these photos out of the vegan bubble and into more mainstream eyes, so that other people will also see them and consider, you know, their choices that they're making. Yeah, so that's it for me.
But hopefully, in the very near future, we will have a section with your incredible
More
photography on the
photographs,
website as
right?
part of our arts.
Jorgensen.
That would be awesome, Tammy. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Wendy, would you like to share?
I'll share a few words. I'm very happy to be a part of. I've met so many people like Tammy through the vegan community and the Healthy World Vitality and American Vegan. I've volunteered for all three, and I'm become very involved. I'm the professional partner liaison now for the vegan community, and they have the Freedom from Dairy Passion Pod, which is a similar topic to this, that will have programs. And Tammy will be on that next Friday at 2:00 with that. But I became vegetarian in 1988 after reading a book about factory farming because I was an animal lover. And then it took me a while to figure out how to be vegan, but I eventually did in 2010, doing the PCRM 21-day challenge. And I'm so happy to find all these people that love animals, because I've been to the animal rights conference and other thing, and that doesn't exist anymore. So it's been hard to find people that feel the same as I do and understand the mother baby bonds. And it's just so good to meet all these wonderful people.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Deborah. Do you have something that you're planning to do with with any of your extended community on Mother's Day weekend?
Well, I'm still thinking, but I did just order an ice cream maker. And I do have a Yonana machine, but I've never figured out how to make that perfect enough to do that for company. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just invite people over. I used to lead a vegan outreach group, but that has stopped. So I'm connected with some of the people. So maybe I will have an ice cream party. Maybe I'll just buy some if I can't make it and invite people over.
Lewis says that by using the
Thanks,
windows.
Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Allison. Hi, Allison.
Hey, Tammy. Yeah, so I have an interesting challenge here for International Calf and Cow Mother's Day here in Peru. There is an animal sanctuary that's associated with the vegan community that we've held many fundraisers for. About a month ago, I talked with Gopi, the founder, about International Calf and Cow Mother's Day, doing an event at the sanctuary, and she responded right away. Typically, she does a 2-day activity. So we're talking about doing a weekend, May 9th and 10th, where families would be invited to go to the sanctuary and eat vegan meals and participate in the activities. Now that the website is up, I sent her the link to the website. The last couple of days, I've been really busy. I tried to get her to the sanctuary panel this morning, just to listen, but she wasn't able. So my task between now and Mother's Day weekend is to help her to make use of the tools on the International Calf and Cow Mother's Day website, and to help her to feel like she's supported to promote this event. So the timeline is short because she typically by this time is already promoting. And so I'm hoping that I'll be able to support her in the next couple of days to pull that off. So that's one of the things that I plan to be doing. But the other thing I'll be doing together with Dakota, and that is the campaign to plant trees on 4 continents for the mothers and babies of wild animals threatened with extinction by planting trees. And yesterday I shared for a few minutes about that campaign and how to participate. But we do have a landing page for the International Calf and Cow Mother's Day at at greener.gifts. And I can put that link in the chat again, where people can participate in that campaign. Many times we want to buy a gift for a mother or anyone associated with Mother's Day. And, the same old whatever, chocolates and roses, whatever, maybe don't have the same impact that planting trees might have. Not only is it environmentally friendly, but it gives people a way to feel a part of something bigger than themselves. And in this particular case, it's to associate with mothers of all species. So when people order trees, they will have the opportunity to design a certificate that gets delivered to the mother in this instance. They'll like be able to put their photo on the certificate and send a message about the mothers of all species. Anyway, you can personalize your message on the certificate. So that's what I'll be doing the next several weeks, but anticipating International Calf and Cow Mother's Day. So I don't know if Dakota wants to add something to that. Dakota's my partner in crime on this campaign.
And one of the things before you speak, Dakota, that I wanted to just mention is that sometimes donating to a cause can be a little tricky. We don't know if it's going to actually go there. And so that's what I think a lot of people hesitate. We know these people directly. The person that started it is Silash's niece. And we know it's actually going, the trees are actually going to all these communities, reforesting communities, but also in areas that they're rebuilding the entire area to be able to be food forests as well, planting fruit trees and food where food is really sparse. So the webs again, if you want to share with some of your loved ones, even as mothers or grandmothers, if they want to give you a little gift, they can plant some trees for you wherever you choose where those trees, and as part of our campaign, and see how that grows over the next year. Thanks. Come on up, Dakota.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Allison, and everybody here today. It's great to hear what everybody's working on. Gets me so excited. Yeah, so regarding the tree campaign, I just love how it ties in with the Mother's Day and the calf and cow initiatives and everything, because by reforesting and creating the habitats for mothers of all species, we're helping all the mothers and babies in that way. So I love this, and the fact that we do have a company that is vetted and we know is actually doing the work, and it's such a reasonable cost. I just can't even believe how cheap the trees are. I love it. But all these people and the partners, Sod in the Forest and others, they're just so committed like we are and pure in heart. We know that they're helping other underserved people who need work that are actually doing the planting. They're helping poor communities. They're helping they're helping with food for us and just all these things that it's just helping so many people and animals. It's great. So you know your money's going to a good cause. And I just want to say I still love the whole mangroves thing. It's because maybe I grew up on the water, but besides the trees, there's trees anywhere from $3 to $5, but they go into, you can choose where you want them to be planted amongst, I think there's at least 10 different places right now. They're doing food for us. And and you can choose that, or there's the mangroves and the kelp. They're also working on planting in for water areas uh, to help the environment in the sea. And the fact that these kelp and mangrove trees sequester so much carbon, I didn't know that before, that they really are great carbon sinks. And so that's got me, kind of fired up too. And it's only $2 for a mangrove tree. So when I'm low on cash, I'm like, okay, I just want to do like 5 mangroves. There's $10, but I feel like I'm doing a little something. So anytime I can, I just hit that. And it gets so easy once you do it once. The website just takes you right through the process. It's less than 5 minutes and makes me feel so good. And then I've gotten great feedback from various friends. I'm just like, well, who can I plant for today? Oh, let me plant for this friend or that friend. So for Mother's Day, I got a whole list of mamas I know, and I can't wait to gift them, because something about getting that certificate, even in your email, it just makes you feel good. And I know it did me. Somebody the other day uh, planted trees for Earth Day, but they gifted them to the vegan rewilding team of climate healers. And that just made me feel so happy. I was like, so I think just getting that certificate too, knowing that other people are thinking about you and the earth and all those connections, it just feels good all around. And I'm loving this project and just loving all of you and this day. Thank you all.
I should make a note that today I received a certificate from Dakota. He planted 10 trees in my name. Thank you, Dakota.
It's beautiful. Denise, would you like to share? And I'm hoping that maybe Dr. Anya Heister, who says that she's officially a grandmother now, might come up and join us as well. Thank you for being here, Denise. Denise is my new friend. A mutual friend. Denise was doing a retreat close. A friend of mine was doing a retreat close by my home, and Denise was catering it. And she said, sorry if you're not vegans, but there will only be vegan food in this house. And so my girlfriend's like, do you know Denise? And, she lived a couple of range roads away. And I'm like, no. She says, you have to meet Denise. So Denise came for some body work, some massage. And she said, how come I never knew you were here? So Denise and her husband are both carpenters, and they're building an off-the-grid home in a forest. And maybe you can share a little bit about what that place is going to be called. I think it was going to be called something like a Homestead. And that's where we're going to have a huge event next year, as well as wherever else we're going to do it, at a Himsa Homestead in the camping forest. So take it away, Denise.
Yeah, it's going to be our own little Sadhana forest where we're planting food forests as well, and we're building a huge structure, 60 by 60 structure with a small living space and a great big greenhouse and a shop, all in one building. And yeah, we hope to really spread the word here more than I have been. We've been total veg for 30 years, but I found when I went vegan, there wasn't a lot of folks that were really receptive to it, or really receptive to even knowing what was going on with the animals that are giving their sustenance and their lives for folks to eat their animal products. And so Tammy's really started a fire under my butt, and now I've shared McAdood with Sci Center, who I have been involved with since 2007, but have received crickets from them, absolutely nothing. So I'm still sending stuff, but I'm not getting anything back. So I think I might be, I don't know, ostracized from that community, and I'm totally okay with that, because ahimsa is one of their 5 values, and they can't really claim that if they're still eating and drinking dairy products. So I'm still hoping, though, but I'm really happy to be here, and really happy to have found Tammy as a friend, even though before we were living about 15 minutes away, and now we're about an hour away since we've moved from that area and are now building our own sadhana forest. And I want to call it a Himsa Homestead, but maybe a homestead with the the OM. So we'll see. We'll see how I can make that work. But yeah, it's lovely to be here and meet you all, and it really inspires me, all of the actions that you all, been doing for so many years. So really love it. Thank you so much for having me.
And Denise and I won't be apart for that much longer. I'm going to build a tiny home. They are the carpenters. I'm just a really, really good grunt person because I built my own tiny home on my property. But again, I was just really good at following orders because I'm definitely not a carpenter. And
Tammy,
my life.
1 second. I'm going to go off screen so we can bring up Anya Heister. We can't bring any more people up, okay? So I'll go off screen and bring her up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my life might incredibly simplify in the near future when I'm living in what will be a conscious community food forest in the cold Canada. And that is why Denise and her husband designed a home that is completely off the grid, that is predominantly a greenhouse and mostly solar, natural solar. The way it's built and the way it's south facing in this boreal forest near a river in Canada that has a really nice clean well. So it will be a lovely
Indeed.
place to
We're
live.
going to implement wind turbines as well,
Right.
like just
Thank you.
small wind turbines on the top of the building.
Right. Not
Yeah,
the great big ones that often kill birds, but if they're closer to the structure, it's safer for
right.
birds.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Dr. Anya Heister has said in one of our conversations as it was leading up to the Convergence, I said, "You're a grandmother now. Are you going to be one of our million vegan grandmothers?" And she said, "Yes." And I'm like, "Yay." So the keynote closing talk yesterday, presentation, we really want to be able to use that on our main page. It was so powerful, Anya, and you are just such a heart-centered, incredible, passionate soul. So thank you for being here as part of our community and our spokesperson for the mama and babies of the wild.
Thank you so much, Tammy. And I'm really looking forward to that event. And again, I think this weekend's event has been so amazing and so fabulous. And I just feel very inspired by everyone and by the activism and determination and the connections globally among us. And, I was thinking we often talk, or I often hear the word community, you know, but I don't really see it necessarily, here, especially here in Montana. And I think I've mentioned it before as an animal rights activist, as a vegan. It is very difficult living in Montana, and I'm sure it's not easier for any of you, but for me, it is just such a stark contrast, coming from Frankfurt, coming from Germany, coming from Europe, and then being here in Montana, with Montana being such an agricultural state, and so in a way there's still this wild Western attitude present, eye for an eye, and individualism, everybody for him or herself, and things like that. So it's very difficult. And like I've mentioned before yesterday, the culture is such very utilitarian towards animals. And but I have been really feeling inspired by this convergence this weekend, to make a better and maybe a stronger push here in Montana to also promote veganism. So not only wildlife preservation, not conservation, because the word conservation entails use, but preserving the wild animals. And I was just thinking this morning when I was listening to you, I'm going to start making like a diagram or like a table, and to compare what's going on in the meat and dairy industry with what's going on in lethal wildlife management. And it's quite shocking to see the parallels, not surprising, but in terms of the cruelty and the treatment of the animals, it's very similar, in a different context, but still very, very similar. Um, so thank you for this convergence, and thank you for being yet an inspiration again. I felt the same way last time I attended, and I feel the same way, and I'm very grateful to you all. As a new grandmother, I think what I'm going to do over um, at Mother's Day, um, I have a very modest goal, and that is to make myself more accessible to my, I guess, daughter-in-law, and who is the new mother of the little baby boy, Vincent. And she is originally from Brazil, and I've met her parents as well. Wonderful people, but strong meat eaters, right? They're coming from a culture with predominant meat consumption. And we had a little bit of a problem with a language barrier, but we immediately started talking about us, my husband and I, being vegans, and you know, and Winnie's parents not being vegan, and they actually had no idea about veganism, you know. So the usual questions came up. So what do you eat? And oh my God, and things like that. So I think we planted a seed in them too, which is wonderful. But yeah, and Winnie is really trying to be a vegan, and I decided to be more of a help to her, you know, and help her to make that switch completely, you know. So that's my very modest personal goal.
Anya, veganism is really big in Brazil, and I can put you in touch with some really great vegans in Brazil that are actually
Really?
they're bilingual too. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
hmm
So who just I'm sorry, who
That's
just
me.
spoke?
That's me again, Allison.
Oh, Allison.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Yes, please, Allison. I will definitely get in touch with you, Allison. I think we
Okay.
have a lot to share,
I
a
think
lot
so.
to talk about. The vegan
Uh-huh.
rewilding, and yeah, just one of them, one of the
Okay.
topics. Yeah. So
Okay.
thank you.
hmm
Thank you. And sorry, I missed this session because I had to step out. I got a work-related phone call, and I just had to take it. So sorry to miss the beginning.
Thank you so much, Anya. Dakota?
Yes, if we had just another minute, I just wanted to tag on to what Denise started talking about with her and her husband's building their own place on the land, and and the whole sod in a forest thing. I'm so excited about things like that too, and I've had this dream, for a while, could I ever do that or someday? Anyway, I'm just excited because where my girlfriend lives, she's got like 5 acres. And so we're starting to talk about, I'm like stopping mowing and letting the natural prairie grass come back or whatever, and stop being kind of suburban, even though we're in the country. You know what I mean? Plant more flowers. We got some fruit trees, so we're going to try to take this little 5 acres and do that. But right beside her, a neighbor's got 17 acres up for sale. And right across the street, a dear friend who's elderly there and his wife, they're getting ready to go into a nursing home, but they're getting ready to put their property up for sale, which is 3 acres. But then right beside them, there's 3 more acres, and then there's another 80 that's got an apple orchard. And those are gonna go up for sale in the near future. And so my mind is just like, we could make our own sod in a forest and have like 105 acres, if we could find enough people that might have some seed money or be interested in the same kind of idea. So I'm just putting it out there right now. We got about 20 acres going up right beside us. That'd be 25. Anyway, I have myself and another friend I work with who is pre-vegan and on the journey. She's really asking a lot of questions. I'm interested, and I'm going to share a lot of these topics this weekend with her on the recordings. But anyway, I know of a few people who are willing to take care of the property and live there and pay part of a mortgage, say, but we don't have that seed money to buy right now. So anyway, my mind's just there, and I wanted to put it out there if anybody is interested or knows others who are interested.
Oh God, Dakota, remind us again. Where do you live?
Oh, I'm just north of Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, okay. All
Platte
right.
City. Yeah, Platte
Okay.
City, Missouri. So middle of the
Okay.
USA.
Beautiful. Danny, do you have a question for us?
I do. I just wanted to ask Denise, do you have any contact info or a website I could put in the chat?
Just my email.
Okay.
It's Denise Nadeau,
Are you gonna,
Nadeise,
yes,
Nadeau, Nadeau, number 9,
Nadeau,
the number 9
right?
at protonmail.com.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No problem. And Dakota, like, really feel free to reach out. We have, like, we made our own plans. So if if you want any of that, we're happy to share.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Thank you for your email. That'd be awesome.
They've designed all their own homes, and this is the first, like, as eco as you can get, especially in cold climates. And so are those plans available if somebody in a cooler climate was looking to build, Denise? Okay, amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
We'll work out the bugs first, and then we'll share.
Great.
So exciting. Thank you.
In the early morning quiet, when the fields are breathing slow, there's a mother calling softly for the child she came to know. We took her milk, we took her baby, called it custom, called it need. But the earth remembers every bond we break to feed our greed. Bring the cows back to their mothers, bring the milk back to the young. Let no baby be taken before their life's begun. Bring them home to their mothers, let their bodies tell the truth. What was made for loving was never ours to use. She knows him by his breathing, by the sound beneath his cry, by the way the dawn is shining in his dark and liquid eyes. This is more than instinct speaking, more than nature's simple way. This is a love that crosses species, older than the word away. Bring the cows back to their mothers, let the circle still be whole. What is taken breaks the planet, what is love restores the soul. Bring them home to their mothers, let compassion be our guide. Every child beside their mother, every mother with her child. I have walked where moose give birth, where the cows lay down to calve. Placenta on the forest floor, a boundary sacred, raw and vast. I did not belong inside that circle, and she let me know it true. She ushered me back from the forest, from her home, where she belonged, not you. Bring the cows back to their mothers, honor where the birth blood lies. There are laws older than markets, written in the mother's eyes.
This last year, the krill fishery took 650,000 metric tons out of the Southern Ocean. And this is literally taking the food out of the mouths of whales and penguins, seabirds and seals. These species are being severely impacted by the greed of the krill fishery.
And out beyond the breaking waves, where the great blue mothers roam, there are calves beneath the surface, learning oceans as their home. We reach deep for tiny bodies, scoop the krill from living seas. But that food was made for mothers and the young they hold and feed. Leave the krill for ocean mothers, leave the seas to feed their young. Let the whales and gentle giants raise their babies strong and sound. Bring them home to their mothers, land and ocean, hoof and fin. When we stop what's not ours to take, the healing can begin. We are waking from a long divided dream, where we fed on domination and called violence routine. Now a wider love is moving through our hands and what we choose. Every meal a sacred promise that no mother has to lose. Beloved, stand beside me with your feet upon the ground. Let our lives be living answers, let protection make it sound. This is how the world turns gentle. This is how the old ways end. When we choose the mother-child bond again and again and again. Bring the cows back to their mothers. Let the mothers keep their.
It's a tiny bit less than 80 acres. I have Jersey cows, Holstein cows, a yak.
She estimates she's rescued about 158 cows.
And most cows don't get to live like this. It makes me happy.
Tack Ryder says she got to know cows working at a dairy farm in 1976.
The cows were just wonderful, and when they stopped making milk, they got slaughtered.
She decided to create the sanctuary after tragedy struck.
Huge storm, and I found all these dead cows in the field. The first cows I had were the 6 babies that survived the lightning storm.
She wrote a children's book about that experience, with proceeds benefiting the nonprofit, which she runs herself.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby. Even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable,